Hello? Hello? I offer. Seems to have frozen. Oh, here you are. Can you hear me? You're on mute if you're talking to me. Still mute.
And here I am.
Hi, Sid. How you doing?
Hello, גלעד, יש לנו עכשיו בסדר, עוד חצי דקה. טוב, welcome to another installment of Olim Paveway's Toolbox Talks, 28 minutes of Tachlis for Olim. I'm joining you again this week from New York, waiting for the skies to reopen so that I can get back home to Yerushalayim. But in the spirit of Paveways and Israel's resilience, we're continuing to bring you these weekly tips no matter what happens. And in that same spirit, I'd like to turn this week's Zoomcast over to our guest presenter, Gilad Newman, who's CEO of Dale Carnegie in Israel. And for those of you who don't know, Dale Carnegie was an American author and lecturer. He was, and I checked with Gilad, so if I make any mistake, he will tell you. He was the godfather of self-improvement and a mentor to generations of presenters and public speakers. And he was also the author of a book, which I love, called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, which was published in 1948. So obviously, this is not a new problem. Gilad, the room is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sid. So just to get us into the right mode, what are some, we can put this in the chat. What are some of the challenges we're feeling today when we're talking about resilience, maybe even worry, stress? Just quickly in the chat, just put it in a word or a couple of words, whatever comes to mind. Even those without cameras can do that one. Okay, so Sid came in first. Let's give it a few more seconds. Just whatever comes to mind. Okay. All right. So we start with Julie, who wrote here, worry about safety. In what way? If you come on audio.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the way that everybody is worrying, so my family is separated. I live in Carmiel with my husband, and my son lives in Ramat Gan, where he lives on the fourth floor of a walk-up building, and on the top, and like all around him, he lives like between Ramat Gan and Bnei Brak, really more in Bnei Brak. And he's walking distance to, I think, 3 of the sites where, buildings have really, really gotten destroyed. My daughter is in the Army. She's not in combat, but her base is all the way in the south, and she's traveling up and down the country to get home and to get back. So
just those thoughts of they're out there. We have no control of that, and when's that something might happen. Yeah, definitely. Danny, if you can come on audio by any chance. I know you don't have a camera, but how's the lack of Hebrew? Why is that such a stress or part of the challenge with the resilience? Are you able to come on audio for this? If not, just write it in the chat, just a bigger explanation. And I see Miriam's joined us, and Sid, you wrote something very big here, existential fear. How's that manifesting? If you're able to come on, say overall lack of control. Yeah, okay. So there's a lot of things that sort of that uncertainty that really kind of suddenly we feel we lose control over what we can do, where we can go. And when we have that feeling, that's when the resilience disappears and maybe a lot of other things happen. So today we're going to take a look at some of these things to see what we can do in order to gain some of that control back to us. So I'm going to share the screen now. We wrote that out. Just quickly, this is the book that Sid mentioned, or How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, and a lot of people know How to Win Friends and Influence People from Dale Carnegie. Just about myself, I've been a trainer for 13 years for Dale Carnegie, been running the operations here in Israel for the past 8 years. I also do training in presentation skills, communication skills, sales, and leadership. That's what we do in Dale Carnegie. I've got 3 daughters. I'm a Yerushalmi living today in Ra'anana. My 3 daughters here in Machne Yehuda Shuk. They've grown a bit since then. I just love that photo, so I just keep it. I'm a Man United supporter and swim 3 times a week when the pool's open. Such a bit about myself. So as we said today, we're going to just look quickly about what are really those worry, stress, and anxiety? What's the difference? How is that affecting us? What can we do in order to gain some tools to gain more control over those situations? And see at the same time how we can help others, because that's huge impact. People around us feel a lot of times the same. We've got family members or just anybody around us, see what we can do, and we'll see how important that is to be able to help others. So we're talking about there's 4 sort of points that we need to reference to understand pressure. So the first thing is this is what causes, we'd say, all of the next stages. And pressure can be positive, right? You know, how many of us feel that pressure sometimes gets us to do things we don't want to do, or we can speed up things because we're under pressure? The point is, at some point, too much pressure in anything in life, that's when we start maybe collapsing or things start crushing. And that's where the trouble starts, when there's too much pressure for us to handle. By the way, if you have any questions or any points, you just switch the audio on, speak as it goes. We're in this group. So this is what we said about pressure. You know, even a pressure cooker, if it's too much, can explode. I actually had that happen once and just went off all the way to the ceiling. So these things can happen even for the toughest situations. Worry. This is what we call, this is where it's all in our mind, when our thinking, and suddenly we can't fall asleep because our brain's going some sort of overdrive. You know, how many much are feeling that and thinking and what do I do? And it just drives us crazy. So that's the mental side of it. That's here in our head. Then the next one is stress. That's the physical manifestation of once worry gets too much, we start feeling it in our body. Just quickly in the chat, where are some of the areas that you have or might feel that stress? What areas in your body might that happen? Put that in the chat. I know for me, it's my shoulders or my stomach. Those are the 2 big areas where stress comes in. Let's see what we have here. So I have Julie's identifies my stomach as well. You got chest here from Azaria, upper back, my back, yeah. Okay. So yeah, breathing. They say even 50% of people, this is, by the way, before COVID, 50% of people who arrive at hospital are not really sick. Well, when they come to hospital, they are sick. The cause is worry and stress. And that creates those ailments. So it's so much happens. We pay a huge price when we let that take control over our lives. So, and heart attacks, there are a lot of professions that more people get heart attacks today. So that's stress. Next one is anxiety. And this is when it's the sort of the side where it's our mind is no longer in our control, and it can manifest itself physically and mentally. And that's where a lot of times people need medication. The challenge with anxiety is logic doesn't work to help people with anxiety when they're in that anxious and losing. We can give them the best logic explanations, which a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old would accept. But somebody in anxiety, it just doesn't work. So one of the tools and ways to deal with people with anxiety is, first, we need to get them to connect with us. We need to just get them to relax more before we do anything. There's nothing we can do if they're not relaxed and not connecting with us. They're not hearing what we're saying and be able to process it in their mind. And a lot of people I found in the last couple of weeks have more and more anxiety attacks. So it's not about, if they're very smart people, it doesn't make any difference. We need to first calm the soul, get them to relax, and then we can deal with it. So understand, with anxiety, and a lot of times we'll need professional help if we get to this stage. So a few things we can do on dealing with managing worry and stress. These are first some tips just from How to Win Friends and Influence People, then some tips from which relate to it, but also from life, and some other things which can get us in a better state of mind. So first one is the first principle from How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, which is called live in daytight compartments. It's focus on the present, because a lot of times we carry our bag of our past with us, and it's a huge burden on us, and we couldn't do this, and this didn't work, and it's just so heavy on us. And then what might be, and I know especially when we come to a new country, if you come to Israel, it's like everything's new and different, and what will happen if, and that is something we can't deal with. It doesn't mean not plan for the future, but it means the only time we can live in is in the present now, and deal with what's on my plate at the moment. So for example, these next 20 or so minutes, I'm in this session. There is nothing around me in this world for these 20 minutes. Small caveat, if there is an alarm, we have to go to the shelter. But other than that, I won't know anything. My phone's on silent. I'll only hear if there's an alarm coming out. So I'm fully present here. And even if other things in life are worrying, I'm not there. So every time, bite-sized pieces, but focus on something doing now. So, and this goes to the next principle, is about keeping busy. A lot of people say that, yeah, keep busy, but I can't do anything. My mind's going crazy. How can I keep busy? Pick one thing, one simple thing even, or two things. Make a list, 1, 2, 3. These are the things I'm going to do. And just start doing them, even without, you don't feel like it, you don't want to do it, doesn't matter. Start doing it, even with a small list. And now's the time, if you have a pen, write down 2 things you could do. If you're in the States now, you've got a few more hours for the rest of the day. If you're in Israel, almost bedtime, so maybe write a list for tomorrow. Write down 2 to 3 things you would like to do tomorrow. And maybe these are things that have been sitting on your mind for a while, and why didn't I do it? For me, one thing I know is going to wash my car tomorrow, because I feel really good when I do the washing of the car and it comes out really clean. I feel like something's renewed. So I don't feel like driving somewhere tomorrow to have it cleaned. I'm going to do it myself. So it takes 25 minutes if it's just me. And if my daughters help me, it takes 35, but we still do it anyway. So even with the kids, if it takes a bit longer, have some fun with it. Keep busy. Next one, what does this mean to cooperate with the inevitable? This is the situation. I know Sid, for example, is stuck in New York. Now, Sid, you can be angry or pissed, though even being stuck in New York is not too bad. There's worse places in the world to be stuck in. But this is a situation. I can't at the moment, or could find a way to get out, but I really can't get back now. So what can I do now? I'm stuck in New York. How can I make the best of my time here while I'm stuck? So there's 2 stages. One, as we say in Hebrew, Zeh ma yesh, this is what I have. This is what I can do. You're stuck in traffic. You can get annoyed. I can't get this. You can get annoyed. You can get aggravated. But it's not going to change anything. So, okay, I'm stuck in traffic. Now, what can I do to make the best of this time? Just an example, a few years ago, I took the bus to Tel Aviv instead of taking the car. And then on the way back, I saw that if I take the train, it's going to save me half an hour. So it's like, great. I go down, I was talking on the phone, I asked somebody, does this train get to Herzliya? They say, yes, it does. I say, okay, great. I get on the train, and then the last station of Tel Aviv, and it says, next stop, Haifa, all the way up the north. I'm stuck on the train, you can't stop, can't get off, and I know it's going to be another 3 hours. Instead of saving 30 minutes, it's another 3 hours extra on my travel. So what do? Well, I took my laptop out, found a table, opened an office, worked, and had a really 3-hour productive time on the train. So make the best out of these. By the way, if you have any comments along the way, you can, as I said, add them on. Let me just see if I'm opening the chat. I've got another screen. That's why I'm looking to the side at the moment. And yeah, some positive things to think about. Find the little joy moments in day. What are some of the good things that are happening? For example, I get to spend more time with my daughters because of this. And we just got a new kitten to accompany our older cat. So there's some good things happening even with the challenges. So what are those small nuggets of positivity and they have a huge impact on our thought, because when we're thinking positive, our mind, and we'll see this in a moment, can only do one thought process at the same time, can't do 2. So think on something positive, and it lowers that negative, because our mind can't do that. It only has one core, not like our phone has a few. We only can do thought processes. We can do automatic processes, a few at the same time, but a fully thought process, only one. So we're thinking positive, find those little things that make us feel good. And one thing that I found that works pretty well as well is, what is the chance of this happening? Generally speaking, even looking at it, there's a greater chance of having a traffic accident in Israel today than anything else happening. So with all what's going on, a lot of things, they seem so big, but the chance of them actually happening are slim. So play those numbers and you find out, well, you know what? I'm a lot safer than what I thought I am. If I go to the miklat, like people say, chances of something happening are really, really, in a shelter, I go to a shelter, could be really small. So averages, and these are just small things that we can do. They're in Dale Carnegie's How to Stop Worrying, Start Living. I'll show you where you can find some more principles for free as well. but these are some that I found work really well. And just about living in day-tight compartments, going back to the first one, my daughter Noah, who's in high school, she's 16, finishing first year in high school. And about 8 months ago, she had a big test in math, and she was really stressed out of it. I mean, it was just like, and I just said, no, I sent her to read the first chapter of How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, and the Live in Daytime Compartments chapter. And she comes back half an hour later, said, okay, I've read it. And I said, okay, and she says, well, yeah, it's great, but how do I do that? I said, think about it a bit, see what you come up with. The next day, she comes back to me and she says in the afternoon, because the test was on Monday, and this was now Sunday, says, you know what? I've decided I'm going to let Noah of tomorrow deal with all the stress of the test. And Noah of today, we can do something together, can have dinner and maybe watch something on TV and have some fun together. And I was just thinking to myself, I've been a trainer in Dale Carnegie for 13 years, and I never thought of doing it that way, kind of separate myself to two different entities. The one that one will have to worry about it, and I can take it off my shoulders. And I've tried it quite a few times since then. It works pretty well. So we can learn a lot from, by the way, people around us. And any situation of this can work, by the way, anytime we have a problem or a challenge. Write this down. What's the problem? And make sure you write it down. Don't do it in your head. Write it down. Find a way, computer, your pen, whatever works. What is the problem? What is the cause of the problem? What's really behind it? Identify that. What are possible solutions? Think of a few. We're now in a war. That's the problem. And we can't go anywhere. What's the cause? Well, we know what the cause is. What are possible solutions? Well, I can work from home. I can try something new. I can, sit and cry. Those things. That's a solution. It's maybe not the best one, but it is a possible solution. I can do things with my family. So there's different solutions. And what's the best solution to my situation? If I can, a lot of times, once I've done this, I might not find the best solution. I can speak to other people and have a conversation about it, but I've already thought through a process, identifying what's troubling me. And by the way, just identifying the trouble, what really is troubling me behind that, even that just calms us down and gives us a better structure of understanding what I can do. So this one, by the way, works at work, at home, with the kids, anything. Is just simple, but so powerful. I use it all the time, not only for worry and stress, definitely works for worry and stress as well. And just doing something nice for others. Sometimes we feel alone in these situations. And we can just give a hand to somebody else. It can be something small. Our neighbor the other day comes, knocks on the door, and she's a grandmother, and she says, I made your daughter some brownies. And it was just, she's never done that before. We have a good relationship, but and it was just so heartwarming and stomach warming as well at the same time. And my daughters were so excited about it. And then we had a conversation in the shelter about it. And my daughter said, I want the recipe. And she said, yeah, you can come over to me and we can make another cake together. Just having those kind of small things. Somebody who has kids, I'll look after your kids for an hour. I know how many parents would, if they got suddenly get out of jail for 1 hour, sorry I said that way, yeah, but what do I mean, from the kids for 1 hour and just a bit of peace and quiet, especially in these times, just time for themselves, even 1 hour could change the day, could change the week, could do so much. So it doesn't have to be much, but think about other people, find something nice to do. And it could also be in volunteering. And by the way, when we volunteer, the power of it, and we saw this, by the way, during the beginning of the war, those who were here in Israel, so many people went out to volunteer. It gave them peace of mind. And again, when we're volunteering, we're thinking of doing something good for other people. And when we think of doing something good for other people, our mind can't sort of concentrate on our troubles. So it makes us feel good as well that we're helping other people. So even those small volunteer jobs, and any of us can do something. I was on the Hasbara Israeli for 8 months volunteering during the beginning of the war, and we did a lot of workshops. And I did about 40 workshops on managing worry and stress in the first month. And we're doing them, well, this week and last week as well, again. And I went also strawberry picking at a farm. So there's so many things we can do as volunteers. Don't have to give too much time. See what happens. Learn something new. This I got from one of my trainers. We spoke last week, and he was like, he's learning AI now and how to create apps and things like that on AI. And within one day, even working, he was able to create a new Dale Carnegie app in Hebrew, which was still it's in a beta test. But we have an app which we never had before, and this is because he's learning something new. So learning makes us feel good with ourselves that we've achieved something new. Maybe there's something that you've wanted to do for a long time, wanted to learn for a long time, play some music, cooking, I don't know what it is. Find that and just start taking it. And today online, it's very easy to find if we can't go to places. So it's simple. And when we grow, we feel better with ourselves as well. We feel stronger. Hey, I'm able to do something I couldn't do before. That's what we're talking about when resilience, and that creates that good positive energy that gets us going. So these are some things we can do. And here's another things about just quieting our minds. Meditation. I did 9 months ago, which I remember that I haven't done it again. I did the those ice baths. If you haven't done that, you should do that. It's an amazing thing, especially now. Definitely going to find a place within the next week to do it again. It's cold, yes, but it gives our body a really good shock and just gets our system restarted. It is a really powerful experience. And do things like yoga, and other things like that, just to get our breathing in sync. We had somebody in a course taught us how to do yoga before bed. Works unbelievably well. 12 minutes of breathing, you sleep better. Find ways to manage our time. Prioritize what are the most important things I need to do. Make a list the night before. Don't make it in the morning. And the night before, we got a lot of ideas. Put it down. Next day, we come in. We can straight go into action. So that's one thing we can do. And connect to other people. Even sometimes we don't feel like it, we feel alone. These times of when there's trouble, like the war going on now, any person who will put out their hand for help, somebody will come and help you. So in regular times, it might be more challenging. In times of war, people will help. So many people for anything will be more willing to help because also they want to help as well and they feel good as well. So it's a great opportunity. Even if we feel shy, just reach out, neighbors, people at work, anything. Just say, listen, I have some trouble. I need a bit of help in this. And you'll find a lot of people willing to help, even on social media. So don't be alone. Don't feel like there's nobody around who can help me. These are the best times to build connections because people are looking for more connections and building a relationship. So before we're coming to our end of this session, think about, we talked about some things we could do. I saw some people writing down. Write down what is one thing that, by the way, if you want the Dale Carnegie Wiring Principles, you can download them from the App Store. If you've got iPhone or an Android, Dale Carnegie's Golden Book, just write it down later. You can download it for free. Has all the principles in there, more principles, wiring and stress, and how to connect to other people, from how to win friends and influence people. Write down now, please. What is one thing you will be doing differently in your notebook or phone, wherever you're writing down? based on today's session, what is one thing you will do, and when are you going to do it? Not only what, when. Take a moment to do that, please.
And while we're doing that, I'm going to have to say that we have come to the end. And Gilad, I know that there's so much more that I want to do, and maybe we'll bring you back for another session as well as a follow-up.
Oops.
Because it's very important. It's very important. These are practical Tachlis skills. That's exactly what we're looking for. So this, for everybody, wraps up the weekly Toolbox Talks, and we'll return next week with a new topic. We invite you to visit the website. The address is in the chat, the YouTube channel, which has previous Toolbox Talks panel discussions on issues affecting Olim, and eventually this video will be up there as well. And for anybody who's in the audience, if you have an idea for a topic, please don't hesitate to contact me or write a letter to the website to give us a topic, an idea. And Gilad, I want to thank you so much. I filled 3 pages worth of information based on your presentation alone, and I'm hoping that I will be able to implement it right away. You've definitely set my mind at ease. So,
and my email's in the chat if anybody wants to connect or find me on LinkedIn. Easy to do that. I'll be happy to help if you have any other questions later on.
Thank you.
That was the end, by the way. We just finished.
Perfect. Okay. So thank you so much. On behalf of Olim Paveway, on behalf of Ofer, Gilad, I want to wish everybody a good week, and please stay safe. Kol Tuv, Shavua Tov.
Thank you.